Welcome to the Maple and Blossom Podcast Store, episode 20. I am your host, one of your hosts. It is me, Blossom, and as always, I have co-host here, Maple.
Hi everyone, Maple here. So how are things been going with you, Blossom?
Don't ask me. I just want to take it took this is like our fifth start though on this one because we made like joke. It was just we could not get our start. It is hilarious. Like we just kept laughing over and over again. But it looks like we finally got there. So I'm doing pretty good. I've been watching a lot of the Olympics. So that has been a lot of fun to kind of watch. So I like the Olympics.
Yeah, you were talking earlier about the what was the figure skating? I think
Yeah,
you're
the
watching
figure
the
skating.
finals. I
What?
haven't watched much. I've watched some of the hockey, but that's about it.
Yeah, it is. I know it is sometimes when I watch like Olympics, I'm like, it's only like 2 week, but sometimes I'm like, why? Why does it feel like it's so like takes so much longer than just 2 week?
Yeah.
It is very weird. Sometimes time goes by fast, and sometimes time go by slow. It's very
Mm.
weird. Sometimes I don't know. I don't know why.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
I
so
understand.
oh yeah, so I was going to say like maybe let's just jump into the anime that we are
Yep.
covering. So this is episode 20. And every 10th episode, we going to cover a movie. So this week's this episode, we are covering Suzume, which is I really really like this movie. I know
Yeah.
lots of people like to compare it to Your Name because it's like by the same like studio and stuff like that. So I understand that there's like a lot of comparisons, especially with like the animation.
Isn't the same director too?
I think it
I think it's the
yeah,
same.
it is
I think
it
it's the
is
same
like
writer
I think it's
director
like it's the same like everything. I think everything
team.
is actually the same. Like the same
Yeah.
team, director, like I think it's like the same
Music.
everyone.
I think it's even the music. I think everything's the same.
Yeah, both music is by Red Wimser, and I actually think the music in Suzume I think is actually better than in Your Name
Yeah, it is.
because this anime mostly like a lot of the like scenes in this movie are work better with instrumental track, which is what it's actually a decision that they made because they actually wrote songs that have lyrics for certain parts of the movie, but they make the decision to take them out. If you want to listen to them, you can find them on YouTube, or you can also find them like if you buy the album, you can get them too. And like there's some of those songs are like so good, but yeah, I really love the music and like it really helps put you into the scenes and the
Yeah.
atmosphere. So yeah, it is a really good movie. I can't wait to kind of talk to everyone about it. So I guess I will jump right in unless you had something else to
Yep.
say.
No. No, that was Music Minute with Blossom.
That was definitely music minute. Yeah, we just started a little bit early on it, but yeah. So the movie starts off by showcasing a girl walking through like torn up town and like deserted
Yep.
areas and stuff looking for her mother. And it is kind of showcased like she is like given a chair, right? Which is very important to the plot of this movie. But it's I like the mistake that the movie opens with, like, oh, okay, well, I'm sure we're gonna find out what all of this ties into.
Yeah.
And then our main character Suzume, she wakes up from her dream, and it is kind of revealed that this is a dream from her past. So, and she's living with her aunt because her mother has passed away, which you can kind of like gather a little bit from
Yeah.
the opening scene that we just saw. And on her way to school, she passes like this like mysterious guy, right? And like she's like kind of captivated because like he's handsome, right? He's
Yeah.
like oh kakui. So I really like the animation. Like start off like as always, like it's the same thing as like Your Name. They really like
Yeah.
to just show moments where they kind of are like yeah, just take a look at the stuff that we can do. And I love when like they showcase the cooking and they showcase the food. There's a lot of like little things that they show that really like shows just how talented everyone who works on a movie like this is. So I thought that was like really good opening cinematic, and like as she goes, well, she is stopped, right? And he asked like, where are like, is there any ruins? And she was like, well, no, there's like abandoned town over in that way, right? And so she points him in the direction that he needs to go, and then she makes her way to a school. Mm.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing. You get the early impression, like you said, like she's immediately drawn into him, and she's kind of like, oh, okay, like who's this handsome guy, right? Like you said, and then when he asked her, she kind of does like it almost pulls her in more, where she's like, okay, well, why is he going up there? Like, what specifically is he looking for? There's a lot of curiosity that's kind of like running through her head as she's like going through. Um, so then you see her heading off into class where they're just basically just doing regular chatting. I think it's during lunchtime.
Wait, she
Um,
stopped. Wait. Sorry to cut you off. She stops and goes and looks for where he is immediately, right? Yeah.
no, no, it's
No.
after the or wait, no, she does. Yeah, she does.
Yeah, because
She
she's the
starts to
one.
go to
She
school, she
pulls
turns
out.
around and she takes
Yeah.
off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she starts going around. Yes, you're right. My apologies.
Yeah, she stops and
Um,
follows him,
yeah,
and when she gets to the abandoned town, she discovers a door, right?
yeah,
And this is kind of where it's like, this is like weird too, because she like opens the door, right? And like she steps through it, but then she just is in the same place. But when she looks inside the door, she can see like a body and like a like
a
huge like
child.
other world and the child and stuff like that. So and she can hear like voices and stuff from the other side. But
Yeah,
upon stepping through, again, she just is in the same spot.
yeah.
And
She keeps going back and forth, and she just can't go anywhere.
yeah, and she's just like wondering why she's even there. And then she notices like this like small statue on the ground, and she pick it up. And this statue turns into a cat. And then she like freaks out. And this is when she runs back to school, right?
Yeah, she
So
runs off and then she heads back. Yeah.
yeah, your turn.
Yeah. So again, yeah, they're just sitting around talking. Again, it's like lunchtime and they're just kind of sitting around talking. And that's when she starts to see a bit of smoke coming from the mountain area where she just kind of left off. Well, what she perceives as smoke, I should say. Um, and then this is where everyone starts getting this massive, immediate earthquake warning on their cell phone. Is that is that actually like a common thing in
Not
Japan?
common, because that would be bad if it was common. But
Would it
yeah,
be something for like a
we get
larger scale?
yeah, we do get the alerts that like go off in the movie. It is real thing. Did you get like alerts in Canada about like snowstorm or anything? Do you get and like does
No,
everyone's phone? Oh, you guys never get anything like
no,
that. Okay,
no. The only
okay,
the only times we get stuff like that is if like right now, majority of it is if, say, for example, a child goes missing, or
okay,
if there's somebody dangerous that's on the loose, kind of thing. Like
okay,
we do get some emergency broadcasts, but it's not usually anything due to weather.
okay. Yeah, I think the like it is earthquake is kind of like the only thing that I really notice I get.
Tsunami, maybe.
Well, yeah, usually if you get one, they kind of almost go both hand in hand for to
Yeah.
extent. So,
So yeah, so they all get they get their message about the earthquake coming, and they start to feel like little rumbles, like smaller rumbles, and they're like, oh, okay, is that all it is? Like, they're kind of confused, like why would they be sending us warnings over something as simple as this, right? And then of
hmm
course she looks and she sees that the smoke is billowing out more and more from the area, and it's grown quite significantly. And then again they get more earthquake warnings, and at this point this is where she starts rushing out the door. She rushes out of the school and starts heading because she's now, I think in her head she's starting to think, okay, if it's from that area, maybe I did something. Like maybe something happened. Like maybe the guy did something. Like I'm sure she's probably has like a rush of thoughts because it's the same areas where she just was. So of course she rushes in and she's seeing the smoke going into the abandoned city, and it's right around the exact spot that she had came from where she had opened the door. Um, and then this is where she sees the handsome guy, and he's trying to close the door. He's trying to push and he's trying to close it, um, and then he kind of gets knocked back a little bit. I like this early part where it's kind of setting the scene, the smoke and everything. Like as you're going through it, as you start watching a lot more of this, like I start to see more and more like little bits of like it's almost like Madoka Magica in a certain sense. Like some of the moves, like some of the decisions they make with um when they go into like these kind of moments. I really like the inspiration for it.
Yeah, so we learned that the things that come outing of so the doors are called gato, and
Gateways. Yeah.
yeah, and they are like a worm. They like classified as like a worm, and he explains that he's explaining this to Suzume a little bit, right? As they end up closing the door together, right? And
Yeah.
then they go to Suzume's place because he's like, well, I feel responsible that you got hurt, right? Because he got hurt kind of like protecting her from falling like debris from like when the ground was shaking around the door, and then she helped him close it. So then she's like, okay, well, let me like at least help you. And then he was like, oh well, you're pretty good at like patching people up and stuff like that. And she's like, oh yeah, Kasan was nurse, right? So it's like, oh okay, so that's kind of like neat. That she picked up some few things from her mother, right? So I thought
Yeah.
that was like a really neat small detail that you know, not everyone like kind of talk about, but yeah, it is good to like we kind of find out like how these things like go, like why that happened, and I don't think he explained it just yet, but later on he explains like
Not
what
quite.
happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in this moment, the stray cat appear outside her door, right? And then she's like, "Oh, look, it is a cute cat. Let me go get like something like small food." And then the cat talk. And so the chair is kind of important too in this scene because Sato is the mysterious man's name, and Sato is sitting on the chair, right? He's sitting on the chair, and the cat just says, "You're in the way," and then in the blink of an eye, Sato now is turning into this chair. And this is my biggest problem with the entire movie, and it's sad because it's the main premise of the movie is trying to get him not to be a chair anymore, right?
Yeah.
Sort of. Right. There's other factors that lead
They're
to
trying to
him.
stop things. Yeah, they're trying to
Yeah,
stop
yeah.
things and they're trying to
But there's a lot of things that they try to push with this movie, and it really takes me out of it because he's a chair. I
yeah.
don't know really. I don't really know what more to say other than like it's just not the best choice in my opinion for
I could
for it.
I could understand it for the majority of the movie. It makes sense, and it makes sense through the movie and building through everything. Um, it's the ending. It's the emotional attachment. There's certain things that like near the ending where I'm like, okay, like I don't get it. Like what are we doing? Like I don't see a lot of these things for it. Especially like I say, we'll get to it more towards the ending, but yeah, it's just it does take you out of it where you're like you're supposed to feel something like more like you're supposed to see this kind of relationship grow, but it's like I just don't feel it. I don't see it because a lot of is again he's a chair.
Right, right. So yeah, they he Suzume is like losing her mind right now because like why is this happening? Like what is happening? So she now Sato as the chair is now chasing this cat uh
Yep.
down the road, and everyone has their phones out, of course, and they're taking video and picture,
Yep.
and of course they post it all over social media and like what and it's just like what is going on? Like this is the part of this is part of the movie where I'm just like, okay, this is just really ridiculous to me. I just don't
Well,
really
yeah. Well, that's
connect
exactly
with this sort of thing. I'm sorry, but none of my friends have ever become a chair.
it.
But yeah, they end up chasing a cat onto a boat, right? And her aunt's like worried because her aunt's like, "You didn't answer my phone," and she's like, I can't really stay. I have to go somewhere right now." And so yeah, that's also a little bit that's also like a secondary plot to the movie too. Like her aunt, right, is like having trouble raising not trouble raising Suzume, but it's like I don't know how to deal with like teenager and stuff like that because
Yeah.
again, if you're a parent, there's like no book on like how to be
Dealing with
parent. You
this.
just kind of you can get advice, but unless you're like actually living and stuff through it and stuff like that, it's and everyone's like experience being parent is like always going to be more different than someone
Yeah.
else, right? So I just I understand the struggle, especially if they are not like your immediate child, like in this case
Yeah.
where she took in Suzume because her parents all passed away. So she was like, okay, well, I'm like the only family that she has, so I'm going to raise her until she's like 18, right? So I thought that was it's good for her to like make that sacrifice, but you can see the toll and the frustration that comes along with doing this sort of thing too from her
Yeah.
perspective. So
Yeah. And that's exactly it. So next, we kind of get a little bit more of an explanation from the chair now.
Sato.
So he explains that basically what she's seen as this cat is actually the keystone, and it's used to lock away and help kind of keep the worm locked out, um, and keep it where it needs to be. So he then explains that he's a closer, and what his job is he travels all across Japan closing doors as a way to kind of stop the worm from escaping as well. And then he says that it's a very dangerous situation that the keystone is no longer in place, and they have to track down this cat to put him back as the keystone, and hopefully by doing this, we get him his body back. And they're also seeing now pictures posted on social media, um, and they're seeing the cat. They're seeing more and more posts of the cat, and this is where people started giving him basically his nickname, which was
So
what, Daijin.
Daijin, hi. So they arrive in Ehime now, like after like the boat arrived in Ehime, and this is like also like when she's on boat, she gets a phone call from the aunt, and then she's like, "I'm staying at friend's house," and like and her aunt is like, "Wait, is this about like a guy?" And then Suzume just yells like, "No, it has nothing to do with the guy. Like, no, boys, stop! Don't ask about that sort of thing, right?"
Yeah. Yeah, and then of course she hangs up and they kind of go on their way. So they're walking around in this town, um, after they kind of got on, what was it, a train I think they got on, um,
Hey.
or a bus, and they start heading to this area that they're seeing in the picture, because again they're trying to track the cat down now, and they're using a lot of the social media posts because again more and more posts are coming, which makes sense because I mean it's a talking cat. Like how often?
Yeah.
So they end up seeing as they're walking along like the side of the road, and they see this girl going by, and she's carrying on a motorbike a basket of a bunch of oranges, I think tangerines,
Yeah, it's
and
orange.
a bunch of a box ends up spilling out, and a bunch of them just go rolling down the road. So Sato, of course, being quick-witted, is like, "Oh, here, grab this end." He like grabs this net. He helps kind of rope them all in so they don't go all over the place before he flops down, pretending to be just a regular chair as the girl
Yeah.
approaches. So she approaches and she kind of thanks them for, helping them. Thanks for helping me, kind of thing. And then she ends
Yeah.
up seeing.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say she ends up seeing a worm forming in the distance, and then this is where she tries to kind of rush over towards it.
And then the girl on the bike, her name is Chica, and Chica's
Yeah.
like, "Wait, where are you going? What is?"
Mhm.
And she's like, "Oh, I can't really explain it. I just have to get to I have to
I
just
had to go
get
over there.
over there." And then
Yeah.
so she gives her a ride over there, and then Susan's like, "Oh yeah, this is good enough." So yeah, this is where they get. This is the scooter one, right? The
Yep.
abandoned scooter, yeah.
Yep.
So this one was a little bit. This was one of the easier ones to close, right? Like they were able to work together to kind of close this one easily once they got to the location. So I don't have a whole lot to say about this gate closing.
Yeah.
I
There
don't know if
there
you
wasn't
really
a whole
do.
lot. Well, the only thing is because obviously, see, at this point, he even as a chair, he's still wearing the key around his neck, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's still wearing it, and then he realizes as he gets to the location, he's like, I can't lock it, obviously, because I don't have hands. I can't work the key, right? So
Mhm.
he basically tells her, you have to do it for me, and he's walking her through it. So basically, he's talking her through how to do it. So he's basically like, listen to the voices, like you'll hear them, and then if you close your eyes, like you'll start to imagine the location, like the area, and you do start to see it because as she starts working through it, it just turns into a regular school, and you start hearing the voices of people from the past, and you see like the school kids walking in and out, and like you just get a sense of the area of how it was from back then, and then this
Oh,
is
and
where he's
not
like, okay,
a lot
yeah,
of these locations too, they're from abandoned places, right?
yeah,
Where like lost memories and like negative energy is, right? So that's kind of
yeah,
where a lot of this and like this bad energy is like forming, and then it tries to produce earthquake sort of thing, and it like
yeah,
tries to sneak through these like gates that is like all over Japan. So yeah, I thought it was good, and like Suzume is like, oh my, like she was shocked. She's like, I did it, I just, and then like Sato's like, you just saved like a bunch of people lives, right? From you just stopped an earthquake, and like so of course
yeah,
Suzume is like really, Honto? Like she's so like excited for this sort of thing in a
yeah,
weird way. And then yeah, so they end up meeting back up with Chika. She
Chica,
spends the night with her, and they, they have like their little girl talk sort of thing, which is cute. And then Chika gives her some new clothes in the morning before she makes her way over to Kobe, where they find out because the cat is now over making his way to Kobe.
yeah, yeah. So like you said, there's not much more. Like she ends up, like you said, she ends up staying up late, and they're talking, and they share moments. Like she helps her clean up a bit, and they're just really more connecting, as I guess regular teenage girls. um, so like you said, they end up leaving. They end up heading towards Kobe, and they end up getting caught in a bit of rain. So they end up rushing towards a bus station, and they're kind of sitting there waiting for the next bus. And we get somebody who comes by, and she opens her or rolls her window down and says, "Hey, the bus is going to be coming by in a while. Like it's going to be a while.
Six
Why don't
hours.
you, yeah, why don't you just get in and I can kind of drive you." So, which they do. They end up going in with her.
I
So, and
love
it
this
ends to be the
part.
mother.
I love Miki. Miki is so great. you know.
Or this
Uh
whole character, her and her kids was great. Like
Oh, I
it was.
love this. Where like the kids in the chair, right, or in the back seat, and they're like, "Wait, the chair just moved," and then like the mom's like, "What the heck are you talking about? Like chairs don't do that, right?" And then like so they try to like drop stuff on Sato to like make it fall over, and he like is balancing it, like slightly moving and stuff, and then
Yeah.
like everyone stares, and then um Mickey's like, "Don't touch the nice girls stuff, like stop that, like."
Well, like
Stop
they were
messing with it.
already like the kids were already like I don't know if they sensed something or if they could like something was up because like she had the bag was completely zipped up and it was just in the back and the kids were already staring at it like they were already like and then they like
Yeah.
they like unzip the bag and like open it up and see the chair and then they're like and then the mother's like don't touch the nice girl's things like stop it.
I thought this next part is so when they get back to where Miki is staying,
Yep.
Suzume has to babysit a little bit, and it is funny because she's just like, "Oh no, don't do that, no, no!" It's like, "Listen to me," right? Because the Miki is a bot, like she works not really like a bartender. She works
She's
at
not a
a
bartender. She's a
bar.
host. She's
Yeah,
a
she's a
host.
hostess. Yeah, and
Yeah,
I believe
she gets them the
they live right
drink.
upstairs, right? They live upstairs from the bar.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um. So I love that they're like, "No, you are Mount Fuji now," and they're trying to like climb up Suzume, and Suzume like just
yeah.
like you can just see she's just struggling, and then Sato starts moving and like talking, and then Suzume's like, "Oh, he is it is chair with built-in AI."
Yeah, he's
I
a
love how
robot.
like
It's okay.
I love how quick on her feet she was to like be able to come up with this. And they're kids, right? So it's like easier for them to just kind of believe anything that you
Yeah.
kind of say to them for the most part, right? So I thought that was like really nice and quick witted from Suzume. And then she notices that like outside, right, that there's a worm in like the nearby area, right? And it's just like, okay, so like they hurry up now to that location, right? Uh,
Well, before that, what ends up
mm,
happening is so he ends up helping her with the children, and he's giving them rides. He's like walking like a like a soldier kind of thing, and the kids end up going to sleep. So they end up going to sleep with him kind of thing. So she goes downstairs initially and says, "Oh, the kids are sleeping." And what ends up happening is she ends up saying, "Well, since you're here, like you can't work the bar or anything like that because you're your age, but like you can work the back. You can run the dishes. You can, clean. You can do all that stuff." So she ends up getting Suzume to help out um, because it's a little bit busier of a night. So as she's working, she ends up seeing the cat in one of the booths,
oh, that's
and
right. I forgot about this part. Yeah,
yeah, so she ends up seeing the cat in the booth and he ends up noticing her and then he runs out of the bar kind of thing. And as she does that, she calls for Sato and they run out. And as they run out to chase him, that's when they see the worm
that's right. That's right.
at
Now,
that
this
point.
is one of the most interesting gate closing because,
Yeah.
yeah, this gate door closing is like crazy because it is at the abandoned amusement park, right?
Yeah.
And this is like really. So when they get there, Sato says, "Okay, Suzume, you go get the door, and I will go and get track down Daijin, right?"
Yeah.
And
Yep.
so he's trying to get the cat because he wants his body back, and Suzume is going for the door. And in this moment, Suzume is now captivated by what is on the other side of the door, right? And she's like walking. The lights they accidentally trigger the electricity, right,
Yeah, so he
at
dives.
the
He
park.
dives at Daijin. So he dives at him. He's on like they're running along the roller coaster.
I thought
And
that was such neat, it was really neat what they did with the
it was a
animation
neat
and
little
certain
chase.
parts of like
Yeah.
this anime. It was really neat.
So as he dives, so he sees him. So he's on one end, and Daijin has already made the loop and is on the other side. So he just basically jumps and dives towards him, and he ends up I drop kicks him as a chair. I don't. He tackles him, and
Yeah, he does
uh,
something. It's his chair.
so as he hits them, they go flying in, and then that's when they trigger the lights. They trigger the powers. They like hit the ground kind of thing. Um, and then that's when the Ferris wheel starts going up while Suzume is well, she's like dangling. She's just starting to get there. So she's like initially getting there. She's like pushing to close the door, and then it starts moving up, and then she's got to. She just basically grabs onto the door and she's like holding onto it as she's like going up in the air and she's just dangling. And then you see her like actually get up on it, and then that's when, like you said, she has this vision of what she sees on the other side, um, which I think at this moment was, I think it's her again as a child. I think
Because
initially.
I think it's like if you ever look into the door, you see like the first something about the first door you ever went through because she already
Yep.
opened door before, which is important later in the show in the
Yep.
movie, right?
Yep.
So yeah, she sees like her own vision, not like what used to be there, right? So
Yep.
she's like so captivated and like Sato's now yelling like, "No, you're on a Ferris wheel!" Like, because if she walks through the door, she will fall, right? And she
Right,
would,
because she's not
yeah.
seeing the same things, right? What she's
Hi,
seeing is not in reality.
hi.
So he's thinking, like you said, he's rushing up now because he's trying to snap her out of it. He's trying to get her to come back to reality, if you will.
The
Um,
suspense here was like really good. Where like you
it
see her, she
was.
was so close, and he was able to like stop her, and they were able to close the door. So I was like, oh, that is so good.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He snaps her back, and he's like, "What do you see? What do you see?" And then he gets her to actually like, "Okay, but you need to close the gate. Like, stop what you're thinking, and let's get this closed." And he gets her back, and then she starts seeing again more of the amusement park, the lively hood of the amusement park, where people are walking around, and she's actually seeing a bunch of different things, right? And then they end up closing, like you said,
Okay.
they end up closing the gate. And then he starts sharing a little bit. So he starts talking a little bit more while they're waiting for the kind of the. Because at this point, the power goes out again, and they're just kind of slowly going down, um, because of their weight, I guess.
Man,
And
I don't realistically think that.
I don't fully know.
But
Yeah,
okay,
like I don't.
this is a weird one for me. Like
Yeah,
I doubt a chair in Suzume. Like, how much do you think Suzume actually weigh? Like high
yeah.
school girl. Like, come on,
Well, that's
right?
what I mean. It's the only thing I can see that's like momentum bringing them down. I don't know. So,
So I like when
like you
they
said,
go back, when they make it back to Mika's house, or Miki, not Mika, Miki's house. She like scolds Suzume like, "Wait, like total like mother, right?" And she is a
yeah,
mother, so it's like I love that like little again that little aspect for her like her character. They added that into her character, and I like that a lot. I really was like, "Oh yeah, that is so good. That is neat," right? I like that little part of it. And then they eat uh dinner. Uh, does not look so good. But it's just like a bunch of different things just mixed together. It is so bizarre.
yeah, yeah. So, like I said, he starts explaining a little bit more to her. So he starts talking about the ever after, and that's where the worm lives specifically. And he says it's a spot where the living can't go. So it's
Hi.
not something you can actually travel to, kind of thing. Um, and he starts talking like I said, he just goes just a little bit, just talking a little bit about it, and then they both kind of go off to sleep, like you said, after eating and everything.
So I know we kind of like we didn't really bring it up earlier, but when her and Chika were talking about like having their guild talk, right? Uh, so Sato was like heavy sleeper. It's kind of like known this, and
Yeah,
so like they were talking about like how do you wake up like someone who is sleeping, and then they like make a joke like, oh, you just kiss them, and
yeah,
so like Suzume like tries to kiss with the chair a few times when Sato is sleeping, and it's like these
yeah.
are the weird parts for me where I'm just like, what are you doing? You're kissing a chair. I just
Hi.
this is just one of those like little weird parts
Yeah.
for me to try to wake him up. So
Now in this moment here, this is where you kind of see him, and it's almost like when he goes to sleep, it's almost like he's back in his own body and he's battling, what's kind of like happening subconsciously. So
Mhm.
you see him sitting on a chair and he's kind of like contemplating everything. He's like, kind of like, where am I? What's going on? Kind of, and you start to see him turning into ice as you can hear like Suzume kind of calling for him, and
It's
it's
almost
more of a symbol.
Yeah, it's like in a way too, like in this moment, like Sato is like he's mentally giving up. Like, okay, I'm just gonna be cheerful, like
Yeah,
forever. Like he's like starting to mentally give up the battle with himself, I guess. And that's kind of where I feel like the whole like ice thing. And I think in this moment, he's starting to realize something that becomes apparent later. I don't want to really say that
yeah,
just yet, but
yeah,
I think this is the first moment he actually truly realizing this.
yeah.
And then they make their way to Tokyo.
Yes, and she of course gets a text from her aunt that she's on her way to go look for her. So
Yeah,
she ends up making it to Tokyo, and he
I
says
thought it was
he's got a
funny.
spot.
Before that, I thought it was funny where she's on a bullet train, right? And so, like, from
Yeah.
where she lives, right? Like, it's apparent that she
Oh
has
yeah, yeah.
never seen Mount Fuji, and she's like, "Why didn't you wake me up when when we passed Mount Fuji? Like,
Hmm.
why?" Because she
Why
fall
didn't you wake
asleep.
me? Yeah.
I have been on the bullet train before, and I also has fallen asleep, and I missed the Mount Fuji one time, and I was like, I was so sad, but I saw it on the way back. And since then, I've been like back and forth to
Yeah.
Osaka and Tokyo, like area, and so because of that, I have seen it like many times. But like the first like few times when I went, the first time I went, I actually missed it too, and I was like so sad.
I know.
I was like, no,
So yeah, so he ends up saying he's got to go somewheres. He wants to stop somewheres first before they go looking for the cat again. Um, which he ends up taking her to basically his apartment, which is in Tokyo. I will tell you, this this truly shows just a different mindset and a different kind of feel in Japan, where she can literally just walk over to this girl, never met her, and said, "Oh yeah, you know the guy that you rent to? I'm his cousin. Can I have the key to his apartment?" And
no, no. I think they called and Sato talked to them
is
first.
that what it was? And said
Yes,
my
because
cousin's coming? Because I
no,
was like, they just like
because
handed her the keys, like, "Oh yeah, there you go. Go ahead."
Suzume mentioned, "Oh, I'm the girl you talked to on the phone."
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I think they had phone calling
I
first.
was like,
So it wasn't
I
just
was like,
like,
it just
"Oh,
seems
I'm just
weird.
random
Like,
girl." Yeah, no, it wasn't
to be
that.
fair,
It wasn't that
okay,
crazy.
to be fair, to be fair, you know that he probably would.
Mm, know if there's like that high level of just I don't think
Maybe
it's
not in
like that.
Tokyo. Maybe not in Tokyo.
Yeah, maybe if like if you were in like very rural area and like just like small town, you
Yeah,
might get away with that sort of thing where like people don't like really knock their door sort of right.
yeah,
But I don't. Nah, Tokyo's a little bit different. I don't think they'd be doing it like
yeah.
that.
So he ends up getting her to look for some books of his, which is more about the gates and more about the everything that's kind of happening. So this part was freaking hilarious. She ends up like needing a boost because she can't get to the box which has all of the stuff in
I
it.
He is a short chair. And her
Yeah,
skirt though is not the longest skirt though, and
no,
I'm just gonna leave it at that. And she's just she literally is stepping on him.
well, and
I'm
she
just
kind of
gonna
makes
leave
that
it at
joke.
that.
Well, she makes that joke when she gets like the things down. She kind of gives like a little like playful like continuation of like a
Yeah, she's like,
stomping motion on him.
she's like just walking in place on him. Like she looks so happy.
Yeah,
I think earlier. I think like she sat down on him too, right?
She did at the
Like
restaurant when she was with at the bar. She's
so
like, "Oh,
yeah. So
you should be a part of this too." And she like grabs hold of him, pulls the chair over, and then sits down on him.
so
And she
just
has
funny
like the
because in
smuggest
this,
look.
yeah, because where his face is, I'm just gonna leave it at that. We're just gonna continue on with the story because the plot is very important. Oh, okay.
So he basically says that he's looking for clues. He's looking for something about the Tokyo Gate, and he basically says that there is a gate to and two keys, one to the east and one to the west, and he thinks that basically the cat is trying to open both gates and just let the worm out. Is what he's thinking. So he's trying to track down any information about the gates.
Yeah, because this Daijin is trying to open the gate, open the Tokyo gate because this is the same one that decimated Kyoto 100 years ago. So this is kind of like
Yeah.
where he's like, we have to make sure this does not happen because millions will die, right? So it's like a
Well,
crazy.
correct. I mean, you got to think it's Tokyo, right? So
Oh yeah,
it's like
and like
40 million people live here, so it's like
yeah, and
there's
like
like a
one of my favorite part of the movie is actually coming up like very like I can't wait to talk about it. But it's coming up like so soon. It's coming up so soon. But yeah, so they're doing like a little bit of research, and then I like where his college friend is show up,
yeah.
and he's like, that like we were like working together for 4 years to like pass this exam, and he just not even show up. Like he's like so mad, and he's like,
He wasted
wait,
4
I didn't
years,
know
just
he.
basically.
Yeah, he's like, wait, I didn't know he had a sister. And then
Yeah,
Suzume's like, I'm like cousin, but like it is like I'm like
we're so
younger
close.
sister. Yeah.
Yeah, we're so close. We're like sister.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I thought that was like not
Again, like you said,
for
she's very
like
quick on her
brightest.
feet.
Yeah, it was like she knew she made a mistake, but she was able to like. And the guy was like, he just didn't care. He's like, I don't care who you are. Just where the hell is he? Like, where I have to just find him, right? And then so, and this is when, um, at this moment, this is when you start seeing the wall, right? Or
Yeah,
there's
she goes
a
out because
yeah.
she's following him. She's following him because he's leaving, right? He's like,
Mm.
let that guy know he owes me 20,000 yen, and he's gonna pay me when he finds him, kind of thing, right? And then as they go out, that's when she starts hearing the earthquake notification,
Mm.
and he's looking, he's like earthquake, and then she starts looking around. She's like trying to look for it. So like she's like scouring the area, and he's like, oh, look at the birds. He sees like birds flying like out of place, and then she ends up seeing it. She starts to see the worm, and then of course she grabs him, and they take off, heading towards the location.
Yeah, so so like after a little bit, they find Daijin, right, and like they're running, like Suzume is just running out into traffic and like is almost being hit by
Yeah,
a car like multiple time, right? They're both freaking out. Sato is chasing Daijin like right in the middle of street,
the
like
street.
everyone
Yeah,
is like seeing this. Right, it's like Suzume is like losing her mind. Everyone is losing their mind, and then this is kind of where like Sato has like the biggest realization. He's like, yeah, the keystone cannot hold because there's only one of them, and it cannot contain it by itself. Like they need the other one. And then the song that is playing is called Sky Over Tokyo. This is my favorite song, and this is my favorite
yeah,
part of the movie where you truly realize like how bad this is. And like Daijin is like he's just like, oh, you have to do something to stop it. And so like Suzume uh like jumps off like a bridge and then goes flying into the air because she grabbed onto the worm. It's just a really weird like sequence of event that is just kind of happening. It's really
yeah.
hard to explain, right?
It's basically like the worm is coming out of a subway tunnel,
Hi.
and it's kind of initially it's floating around the track, and it makes it look like it's basically a train. And then it's starting to head up into the sky, and it's doing like a spiral heading up. And then this is where she sees him going, okay, I got it from here, take it, like, go away, kind of thing, right? Thanks for your
So,
help. And then
like, this is dumb on Sato's part. It's like, you made it this far with her, now you're just gonna be like, oh no, it's okay. I just don't. I don't know. That's just
that's
like
what I
such
mean.
stupid like part on him. Like,
Well, that's what I
no,
mean.
we
So
already we it is already proven that you cannot close the gate door by yourself.
yeah.
Like, what are you doing? I I was just so confused by this part.
But like you said, again, I think in a lot of ways he's starting to really kind of piece things together a little bit more. So
Mm.
he starts heading up the spiral, and then of course she jumps, like you said, she jumps off the bridge and lands on the worm, and she goes flying up, and she ends up losing her shoe in the process, and she starts heading up. She's trying to climb up the worm herself, and she kind of falls down a bit, and then he jumps down to save her, and then they kind of slowly head up to the top. And as you're seeing it at the top, it's now spread out. So
Oh,
once it
just the
reaches a certain height,
whole city. It
yeah,
was crazy. It was like I was
it's
like,
starting
oh
to
my
spread out like a
god.
web. Yeah, like
Yeah.
this giant like web. And basically the cat is now taunting them. And basically at this point is when he starts saying that I can't be the key anymore. I'm not the key. So
Yeah,
I'm
because
not I
Daijin was
can't do
like,
it.
"What do you?" Yeah, because now Suzume and Sato are at the top of like the whole of the worm, right? Because the whole worm's body end up coming out of the gate door because there's no other keystone, and the
Yeah.
cat is like, "Well, what are you gonna do, Suzume? Millions of people are going to die. The earth is about to break." Like, uh, and then Sato like talks to Suzume. It's like, "I didn't want to." He's like, "I'm sorry, but." I was hoping that this wouldn't be the case, but I'm the keystone now. And
Yeah.
then, like this part of the movie, I was like, oh my god! Like I was like, now I was starting to get like, oh nervous and stuff
Emotional.
like that. Yeah, emotional and nervous. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
no! And
So
then
like
mm,
she's holding him, and he starts to freeze. And
mm-hmm.
you can see like almost like there's like a sharp part that kind of comes down, right? Like a dagger.
Yeah,
And she's now holding him, and she's refusing to admit it. She's refusing to do anything. She doesn't want to use him as a key, right? She doesn't want to do this.
mm-hmm.
And of course, Daijin is just goading her on, like, come on, Suzume, you gotta go quick. The world's gonna break. The Earth's gonna
Yeah,
break.
it's crazy.
Millions of people are
And
gonna die.
so I will speak about this like later on, uh,
Yeah.
but I hate this cat the whole movie, and I don't like it when they try to be like, oh, the cat was like good in the end. I'm like, no, this cat like was a jerk.
You know
I'm so
exactly.
sorry.
You
And
know
it
exactly who this
literally
cat reminded me of.
it reminded me of Cube so bad from
Yes.
Madoka Magica.
Yes.
It was
The
straight
way
a
he kept
rip
goading them
off.
on. Yep.
Yes, and then was
Why
like,
are you
oh
mad at me? I
yeah,
told
I
you
didn't
girls
do anything.
everything.
Yeah,
I told
exactly.
you what was in the contract. You
Yeah,
didn't read
exactly.
it.
I can't
Yeah,
wait
yeah.
till we get. I cannot wait till we get to that anime. I really cannot because that is gonna be such a good. Oh my gosh.
I,
Anyway, so yeah, Suzume realizes she's like, okay, she plunges Sato into the top to stop the worm from turning and from stopping the worm, and she basically turned him into the second keystone,
yeah,
and she falls all the way. She falls down. Daishin actually saves her here.
yeah,
Uh, again, it's just a weird dynamic between the two of them, and it's so after all the emotions rush away, Susume wakes up in front of the gate door. And so now this time when she looks into the gate door, she sees like a hill, right? And she sees like Sato at the chair at the top of this hill
yeah,
now, right? Like
yeah,
her vision has changed, right? And so it's like, oh, that's interesting because it's almost like, what do you wish to know, sort of thing, right? And her wish used to be like, who was that girl? Where was that? Like what is that like mysterious like hill that she knew from her past, but she wanted to
yeah,
figure out what it was now. But now her like thoughts and her visions changed, and like what she wants to know changed, and so now she's like thinking about, she wants to know where Sato is, and now she sees like where he is, and then when she walks through the Tokyo gate, of course it does not work. So she realizes that it's not going to work, and she ends up closing the gate. And then Daiji, and this is the part that I was just like, what is going on? Where Daiji's like Suzume basically, I hate you, and
Yeah.
like has Daijin and almost throws him onto the ground and was just like, just get away from me. I hate you. Cause like Daijin like, don't you love me? Don't you want to play? And I'm just like, this whole time I'm like, what in where did you ever think that she would like you? Like I don't understand. You've done nothing but torment them this whole time. Right? It was just like,
Yeah.
oh. And I know it's kind of revealed later that Daijin was leading them to the gate though, but there's a better way to make this happen than to like act like you're the villain the whole time. Like, oh, the villain actually was the hero sort of like thing, and
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
did it in a terrible way here. And it just was one thing I really did not like about the movie. But
Well,
so that's
that's
just my
exactly it.
perspective on this whole like 20 minutes of like, it was like 10 minutes of the movie that this whole like thing happened in. But yeah, this was like the highlight of the movie for me.
Yeah, it really was. Like I said, this was the big emotional part, and kind of like you really start to kind of build from here. Especially, it adds to it as you get later on, right? So the only thing that really happens before that, like while she's out, you see a little bit more of like a flashback to like her mother. And again, so it's just a little moment where she's like showcasing her actually building the chair, and you see her kind of showing it or highlighting it in her own journal or her notebook that she keeps, um, showcasing like a picture of it. And my mommy's the best, and she built me this, and I'll never lose it, kind of thing, right? Um, and then, like you said, then she wakes up and she goes through her things with Daijin. Um, so now she's kind of like walking. She's kind of walking the streets, um, in just her bare feet, her torn up clothes, and she's kind of walking around now. And she ends up going to see his grandfather, who's in the hospital. And through this, she's trying to gain more information. She's trying to figure out about, the keystone. She's trying to figure out about the gate. She's trying to figure out more information, and if there's a way to kind of go to the ever after and get him. She wants to figure out a way to kind of go and save him. And his grandfather is very much, at first, is very much like, just forget him. Just let him go. If he's the keystone, he failed.
Yeah.
He
Oh, if he
failed in
was
what he
that
was supposed to
stupid.
do.
Like, yeah, if he was
Yeah.
that stupid. And also, like, he does make, so Sato does make note that his family line has been the closers, as they call them,
Yeah.
right? So, like, he learned everything that he knew about all this stuff from his grandfather and stuff like that. So, yeah, his grandfather's like, oh, if that fool got, like, turned into the stone, like, yeah, there's no hope for him. And then like Suzume kind of like begs and pleads with him, and is like, no, I have to like do this because I feel like I'm responsible for this happening, right? Because
Yeah.
she kind of explains that she let the second keystone out, and like his grandfather's like, okay, you're both are idiots, like do whatever you want. To go to the ever after, you have to go back through the first door you ever been through. So this is when Suzume kind of realizes, okay, now I have to go back to my home, my childhood
Child home.
hometown. Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's where I end up going through the door, and it's revealed that in like her like flashback with her diary, right?
Yeah.
Her childhood diary. So this is a fun little part where Tomoya is helping Suzume, right? Yeah, because this is where she, after she goes and gets cleaned up at Sato's place, she goes and she runs into Tomoya again, which is which is Sato's friend. And
Yeah.
this is where Tamaki also show up, and Tamaki is her aunt. We never actually mentioned her name before. But yeah, her
Yeah.
name is Tamaki. And I like this interaction where Tamaki's like, so it was a guy, like, get it, you better stay away from her. And then Suzume's like, no, it's not like that, like, stop. We're trying to, like, help the same, like, we're trying to find Sato. And then, so they kind of, like, they both, like, get into his convertible.
Yeah.
It's just like, just very weird, like, oh, okay. So, I don't know. It was just, like, a cute little interaction, like, in the, like, there was a lot of anger and a lot of like confused and the whole scene was just over the top, like if like argument and stuff like that. Like the aunt has been worried about Suzume this whole time too, right? And like
Yeah.
so I don't even know how she even found Suzume. Like I have no idea. That's never.
Well, I
I
think
don't know
she
if that's
knew she
ever.
was in Tokyo. No, because I think she knew she was in Tokyo, but I think it's just happenstance. She just happened to be
Okay,
coming out
she's
of
so
a train
lucky.
station or coming
Okay.
out of somewheres, and
Mm.
she just happened to see her, kind of thing. Is kind of the impression that I got from it. Um, and then of course, yeah, this is where they start driving off, and Suzume is completely tired, so she ends up passing out for a little bit. Um,
Oh, ちょっと待って. So before this happened, the grandfather has like a cat, right? And his cat
yeah,
is
yeah.
Salijin, and was like, okay, it's up to you now too. Like you have to go and help her now. Like so, like yeah. So Daijin and Salijin are like now with Suzume also to like help. I guess I did forget
Well,
about that.
not as of yet, but they're working
Yeah,
towards this.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you see that part. So as they're driving, they start getting earthquake warnings, and
Mm.
this is where she asks them to pull over, and she goes up to like a higher plane, and she's like looking around. She's trying to see if there's a worm. She's trying to see something. Um, and then
Because
this
now
is where
she
she,
has the key now too, right?
yeah,
Yeah, because she
yeah,
she closed the Tokyo gate, so yeah, she has the key.
yeah. So she's looking around for something. She can't really see anything. So they end up heading back to the car. And then when she gets back into the car, this is where Daijin is in there. He's now sitting there. And then, of course, he starts talking, and then everyone's like, talking cat! And he just immediately stops. He's like, oh, I don't know, maybe you're hearing things. And he just now stays. He just stays in the car with them. And they start
So
driving
was it
again.
was it before or after this moment where they were driving and it was raining? The convertible is broken and like the roof not closed. That's why they had to. Oh no, that's right before they got to the
That's what
actual
they,
rest stop. But like that's
yeah.
about to happen. I thought that was like hilarious. So like it's like, oh yeah, I got this car so cheap. It's like yeah, because it barely worked.
Well, that's just it. And then this is where they go to. I don't like an inn, a diner or something,
Yeah, like a
gas station area,
rest stopper like
rest there.
place.
Yeah,
Yeah, rested
yeah.
area.
So
Mm.
they're in there, and then she ends up leaving. Her aunt goes, and it's like she starts getting aggressive with her. Like, no, we're out of here. We're done with this. Whatever you're doing, I don't really care. We're
Yeah.
done.
So this is
And
like
then she
very
starts.
scary moment because like this is where Tamaki like actually snaps, and it was
Yeah.
like I've wasted the best years of my life um trying to help my sister like raise you and stuff like that, and like she's feeling like a failure as like a mother figure, and Suzume was like, I never asked you to like help me, like I didn't ask for this, you chose to do
Well,
this sort of
well,
thing.
that's what she said. She very specifically said, she's like, I didn't ask her this. Remember, you said I was your daughter now.
Mm.
She's like, you're the one who said that, not me, kind of thing, right? And then she snaps again. She's like, like I want my life back. She's like, when we get back, she's like, I want you out, and I want to take back what's left of my life. Um,
Yeah.
and of course, this is where Daijin kind of gets up from his seat and he looks out and he sees a now a larger black cat.
Yeah, this is Sanojin, and like you can
Yeah,
almost get the feeling that Tamaki was taken over by the hatred of Sanojin in a way.
yeah,
So that's
yeah.
kind of where I figured like that's how I felt in this moment.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. Because then Daijin rushes over to almost attack him, and then but then it twists into like this almost like playfulness. where they're kind of like just kind of
Mm.
playing with each other a little bit, and then she drops to the ground, and that's where you kind of get that sense where she's like broken out of the spell, if you will. Um, and then she gets up and she runs off because, of course, she's now feeling terrible about everything that was said, right? Um, and then again, this is where, like you said, like some of the weirder this comes is because because in the larger, the black one with Saijin, he just grabs a hold of Daijin and just slowly walks and just gets into the car. And then he shrinks into like a smaller version of himself, kind of thing. And then the two of them are just kind of like now just sitting there in the back seat, like.
Yeah, this was like this definitely weird of the movie. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
okay, you were just like hated like this person. Like I felt like again, it's like what they did with Daijin, but they did it sped up. Like, oh look, here's an evil cat. Oh, cat's not really that evil. And they're just like, you didn't do it once, but you did it twice. You just did it sped up.
yeah.
Great. I'm just like, oh, okay. Um, and I think it's funny because Tamaki runs into like the rest area, and Tomoya is there, and he's just like she's like crying, and he's like, like it's like he's never really been in like relationship sort of thing,
Yeah,
and he's just
yeah,
like, oh no, stop, like stop, oh this is a pain.
yeah. So of course they all get in the car and then they start getting back on their path again. So as they start driving, the sun's starting to come out a bit, and then this is where the cat starts talking again, basically explaining that you know they were leading them to the door
I
and not basically like opening them, right?
I did
So
not like this part.
no, so they're having their conversation, and then of course he gets freaked out seeing, obviously the cat's talking again, and like, I knew the cats were talking, and he starts swerving, and of course he ends up crashing his car. So
I
they get
find
into an
it funny
accident.
because when he swerves off the road and crashes the car, then the roof gets fixed.
Yeah, yeah. The
Just
roof
like,
fixes itself, but his door falls off. So it's
yeah.
like,
And then I like because you get the GPS there. It's like recalculating.
yeah. So of
Oh,
course Suzume gets out and she's like, "How far until the city?" And she's like, "It's 20 kilometers that way," kind of thing. And then she's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna run there. Bye." And she just starts running towards the place. Um, and then her aunt starts walking around a field and sees a bike coincidentally
oh,
happen to be laying on the ground.
so there's like another like I'm just like okay, that's
Yeah,
just okay.
it's like this rusted bike, but
Yeah.
it just happens to work. The air in the tires, like everything's good.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
everything is worked so fine for you to be able to ride a bike.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, this is
So
one
she
of
ends
those
up,
weird moments
I
with the
know.
movie.
So she ends up getting on the bike and racing up and finds Suzume, and then they start, heading towards where she was. Um, so they end up taking her back to the ruins of, or what is now ruins of her hometown, her home. Um, so she ends up walking around. She still doesn't know where the door is, but she feels her diary she left would probably have some kind of answers. Um, so she ends up finding where it's buried, and she kind of pulls out the box and she finds it, and she starts going through it. The problem she was having is after her going through the door and the experience, she ended up kind of blacking everything out. So she kind of went through and kind of blacked most of the stuff out. Um, so she's just flipping nervously now, trying to like, okay, where is it? Where is it? Like, and then she sees the picture of her in the chair and then the doorway kind of thing that she had drew. And then she immediately knows exactly where the door is.
So, before we get to like the final part of the movie where she goes into the door, I thought it was funny. I know we didn't talk about it like really early on, but when her mother made the chair,
Yeah,
Susan was like, "Well, where's the face on it, right?" And
yeah,
then her mother's like, "It's a chair."
Why does he need a face?
What does it need a face? But she of course like makes the eyes
Yeah.
for the chair for her daughter. So yeah, I always thought that was I thought that was like a little bit funny. Especially too,
Yeah.
like when Suzume went to go kiss the chair when it was still like Sato, and like to wake him up, she's like, "What? Where's the face on this thing?" Right? So it's like a little bit funny. I thought that was I like that part. Hmm.
Yeah, that definitely was good. That actually was really funny. So yeah, so she ends up seeing the door and then heads towards it. And she says to her aunt, I'll be back. I just stuff I gotta do, kind of thing. And then the three of them, so her and the two cats, they end up going into the gate. They go into the door. So yeah, once they get inside, this was interesting.
Yeah, it's a bunch of fire and brimstone basically, and there's like this huge battle between like these mega cats and the worm, and I'm just like,
Yeah,
oh, oh, what? Okay, I guess so. I was so shocked. I was just
yeah,
like okay, sure, I guess so. If that's what we want, okay. It just I didn't know what I was going to expect when to get into the door. I
yeah.
don't know what I was expecting. I just really did not know.
Well, that's just it. So she gets in, and of course, she starts scanning around, and she ends up finding him, and she starts racing towards him as the mega cats are battling the worm.
The way it's just described is like I don't know how to say it other than that.
Yeah.
Like
That's exactly. It's a giant cat. There's nothing really to like to kind of like go off of. But yeah.
and
So
as oh,
yeah, I was just gonna say yeah. Just jumping back into the next part.
yeah, so as she is now racing towards him and calling out his name, you get flash of like his perspective on this whole thing, where he's now
Yeah.
just like oh excuse me, where he's like in the like still chair, like he's like ice, like he's freezing up, right, and then like he's sitting in front of the door like before, right.
Mhm.
And like he's just now starting to hear her be calling out, and so she makes her way up to the little mountain area where like he is at the top, and she pulls him out, and from from his perspective, it is like her walking through the door and like holding out her hand and freeing him
Yeah.
right from the ice sort of thing. And I do like when they were in the car ride to come here, the aunt is like, "This is about the person you love, isn't it?" And then like Suzume kind of like admits like, "Yeah, this is like." She's like, "I have to do this because it's like it's a person I really care about, sort of thing, right?"
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, this is like the forced romance thing where I understand like if you were in like a life and death and like very dangerous situation with someone and you like prevail and you get through it together, like I can see that being
There
like
was a bonding. Yeah.
romantic,
Yeah.
and I can understand the bonding thing, but the
Yeah.
problem for me the whole movie is he was a chair, and I can never get past this part of just he was a chair. I don't feel like the relationship connection sort of thing.
Well,
I don't
because
know.
the other side of it too. The other side of it too is like yes, you don't see enough. And I think the problem is you don't see enough of perhaps maybe their shared intimate moments because like realistically through the movie, like what we see is they do a little bit of strategy meeting as far as like planning where to go next. Okay, he's going here. Okay, we'll go here. And then you see him explaining a little bit about like what are gates, what are the worms, what's a closer and like stuff like this. But generally speaking, majority of the other times he's not talking because again
Yeah,
he's a chair,
because
and
like
it's
when
weird
they're
because they're
when
in
they're on the
public.
train or they're like just walking in the street though, yeah, it's like
When
well
when they're
he
at the bar, when he's at the bar, when
mm,
he's in, like when she's with Chica, even he
yeah,
says like, "Oh, I'll just go over here and let you guys have your night to like talk and stuff like that, right? And I'll just go to sleep." And he goes off into a corner.
yeah,
And then like
it's
you say, it's
it's
like when he goes
he's
to
like
sleep, it's like he's not there. It's almost like an outer body experience where he just like drops out of the chair.
It just becomes an
Nothing.
actual chair.
Yeah, because like
It's just
because like you literally see the chair like flop like down hard on the ground and stuff like this, right? So it's like again you don't see enough of these little moments, if they have any, of these shared intimate moments where I could see, even as a chair, I could see a relationship forming, right?
me
If they're staying up late
too.
talking
That's yeah.
and going through these things, right?
Like, how do
Like
we
I
find
could
Daijin?
understand
How
those.
to teach me more about the Gato? Like, just little like intimate moments with them together. But yeah.
We don't see
So
enough of these to really say for
mm,
sure, like, okay, I can get a sense of romance here. I
exactly.
can see this, right? Because all you really have is just the excitement of them chasing this thing, and that's
And
it.
it is great. Like, I like the moments of like when the
It is.
suspenseful moments in this movie are great, especially like
And like I can
the
understand from her perspective of like he's an important friend. He's somebody who's important to me. Like I understand that.
yeah.
Like you can
Mm.
have friends that are like that, right? Like I understand that. And going through all this together, I could understand that. But to say that it's immediately a romantic thing and I love him it's realistically a stretch. Because like
So
realistically through the timeline of this, so like what, a month together, maybe
yeah,
a month and a
I don't
half.
I like don't even know if it's like that long, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's like I
so
don't
if we
I don't
like think about it, right? Like from the day one, right, was like when he became chair, and then
yeah
overnight. Day
yeah
two was with Chica. Day three was with Miki, right? Maybe there was few days when they were in Tokyo together, because I think the time did pass like once or twice where
yeah
they were like in his
yeah
room, right, in his like apartment though, like learning about the ghetto and stuff. So like, okay, so maybe like a few, maybe like a week, like
yeah
maybe a week. I don't know. You could probably track it by if you check the social media posts that they had throughout the movie, because they probably had the date
probably
or somewhere. So I'm sure
probably
it was longer than, but like from what I immediately like remember, I
maybe a
not
week.
sure. I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah, I'm gonna probably say
So
maybe 2 weeks top. Like,
yeah, so you're looking at it
we
like
yeah
she's now madly in love with this person in 2 weeks of them being a chair. Like
yeah.
like I said,
It's not
it
like
just
it's not like Your Name where
yeah.
they had like they were swapping bodies for like months, right?
Well, and they were sharing intimate moments with each other too, right? A little bit where
Oh, he was
oh
definitely
yeah.
sharing intimate moment in her body. Yeah.
Hey, hey. He just thought she had a really nice personality.
Yeah. Her personality was definitely good. But okay, so Suzume, like, she's like, I don't care what I have to do in this moment to save Sato. I will even become the keystone. Like,
Yeah,
I need to make sure that he's alive, right?
yeah.
So after she saves him, Daijin like agrees, like, okay, like Daijin is kind of like, this will only work if I am the keystone, and I think he knew this like the cat knew that the whole time. Daijin
He
knew
just
this,
wanted a
right?
bit of freedom. He just wanted a bit
Yeah,
of
that's exactly
breathing
what it
room,
was.
right?
Mm.
Yeah.
So Daijin turns back into the keystone, and the worm is like suppressed or like defeated or whatever.
Whatever it is.
And then so now Suzume has the chair, and Sato is safe, and now they just see a girl walking, and I hate to say it, but from the beginning of the movie, when they like don't show who is giving Suzume the chair, my immediate thought process, like 5 minutes into this movie, was Suzume ends up giving herself the chair.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. I called it 5 minutes in, and when something is like that predictable, I have to lower the score. There's just a few things that were just too obvious or just so weird that really hurt the score on this movie for me. And I still have it rated very high, so I just want to kind of throw that out there. It is
Yeah.
still very
Yeah.
good rating for me. It's just that there's just a few things that if they changed, it could have been so
Yeah,
so so much better.
yeah, and then of course, like you said, you see him he turns back to himself, and then she, of course, he puts his jacket on her because she's cold, I guess, and then she ends up heading up and handing her younger self the chair, and then
Mm.
they end up leaving the door together. Um,
Hi.
and then of course they head back, and then this is where you start to see the romantic side where they share that they love each other kind of thing. Again, it was just
Yeah,
weird to me.
it's
Like,
just a little bit weird.
well, and like, yeah, there's just a lot of this that was just weird to me.
And
And
then
then
I
yeah,
like the like flash. Oh, I really do also like the oh my god, his friend Tomaya, right?
yeah,
And her aunt. I like their like she's like, yeah, I know you're like a pain. You were a pain to be around, but like I do believe you actually be a good teacher, right? Like
yeah,
you're actually like good person and stuff like that, and you actually are a good friend because like he tried to like play it up this whole time that he's like only out for the money, but he cared about Sato. He
yeah,
wanted to make
yeah.
sure his friend was okay, so that was mostly what it was about. So
Okay,
I really
do you know what romance I wanted in this?
them too.
Yes,
That's what I was thinking.
given the
I was
odds.
just about to get there. I was just about to get there where I was just like her aunt and his best friend seem like the actual better like relationship thing in this
And
movie.
especially given the fact that she says like she wanted that and she missed out on this, right? And this,
Exactly. Like they're both adult, right? Like I could see that actually becoming something, right? Yeah.
yeah,
And I'm
like I
not
said,
saying that Suzume and Sato can't become something, but I would have to see more of
yeah,
them being actual like human beings for me to like really get on board with it, right? Like few data or something like that. And but yeah, I
you
really
know,
like how they showcased them trying to get back, and I really love how Suzume again she sleep past Mount Fuji. Just like laughing because like that is so sad. You missed twice. So, and then the movie ends with Suzume riding her bike down the hill like it did in the opening of the movie and passing Sato once again. And they kind of, she was like, oh, uh, Okairi. And he's like, Tadaima. Like, I am finally back. And I don't, he does not say Tadaima. I'm sorry. She says, like, Okairi, like, welcome home,
yeah,
sort of thing. So I think the ending was cute. I like that they, like, met up again the exact same way they met up in the beginning.
yeah.
Um, and it's almost, in a sense, her clothes are different. So I'm pretty sure at this point she's like at a high school because she's not
I
wearing her
think
school
so.
uniform at the end of the movie. But in a
Mhm.
sense, because it's that weird thing where she gave herself the chair, the loop might never end. It might be one of those weird cases, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So that's kind of where I was thinking
maybe.
a little bit. But who knows? Maybe they do end up just like being close after this moment. But I do like that they did run into each other again, and it kind of
Yeah,
felt like old friends meeting up like for first time in long time. So I like that part of the ending here. So yeah, I with how much criticism I had with the movie throughout this without talking with without discussion for the last hour, like 20 minutes though. I did actually have this movie rated high, so I'm actually curious on your thoughts of the movie overall. I'm curious on what some of your favorite parts of the movie was, and I'm curious on what score you give it. I will let you give your score before I give my score, unless you want me to go first.
oh no, I'm good.
Okay.
See, yeah, like I said, like I like a lot of the, like I said, I like the interaction they did with a lot of the people along the way. Like I like her interaction with Chica and um with the other girl when they're in the bar.
Miki.
Miki. I like that whole side of it, like that whole interaction. I like a lot of the traveling moments when they're on the train together and when they're on the bus and they're going through stuff like this. I liked a lot of those moments. I found a lot of the movie really cute and really funny in a lot of ways through most of it. And I think that really definitely helped out, especially given the fact that he's a chair. Again,
Yeah,
that's
I
the
do.
biggest the impact that I have with it is because of this. For
Mhm.
what they want us to believe, for how they want us to be drawn into this, with the whole relationship aspect, with the whole connection thing, right? I do think it definitely would have been a lot better and a lot more impactful if again he wasn't, and it was just it was just him. It's generally
I
how it was.
I agree. Like I 100% though agree
I
here
think
for
I
with your
think it was like
statements.
this weird. I think it's like this weird thing where in their head they were kind of like, well, we want her at the ending to give herself the chair, but how do we make it a realistic story of her carrying around this chair while she's closing gates?
I feel like they were so fixated on having herself give herself the
Yeah,
chair that it really binded their ability to kind of write a real romantic like because that's another problem like if they didn't add the romantic aspect of it I actually would have scored it even higher like higher than
well,
I
that's what I
did.
mean. That's
It's
what I
just the
mean.
romantic part
If
that really like turns me down on this one.
well, that's what I mean. If they literally did it, like I
Almost
said, in the
almost
sense
poor
of
choice of word, yeah.
if they did it in a sense of like friendship, like we were just close friends, like we've built this strong relationship as friends given everything we've been through, right? Like I
Mm-hmm.
understand like when you're strangers like this and you go through this type of an experience together, yes, there is a sense of closeness that you can get towards a person. But again,
Yeah.
I would think it's more of like again more of a friendship, um, than more of like a romantic side. And I could see like like you said, the guilt that she felt with, I was the one who turned him into this. I'm the one who turned him into the Keystone. I have to be the one to find a way to get him out. And I can understand the guilt drivenness to that, more so of this person is extremely important and I have to save them because I want them. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I love
it,
them kind
it
of
was
thing,
like
right?
the reason
Um,
where she wanted to speak to his grandfather and to
yeah,
save him in that moment felt more of this is my responsibility because I caused this instead of
yeah,
oh I love him. It was just different
that's what
feel
I
for
mean.
me.
Yeah. No, exactly, and that's what I'm saying. Like I said, I think in a lot of ways, if they just tweaked it a little bit, it definitely could have been. Like I said, I could get behind it and believe it more if he was more of a human the entire time. Because then the two of them would have been having more intimate moments, with the two of them like laying down before bed talking about things, sharing stuff about themselves, and going through all these things, rather than him not being able to talk because he's a chair, right? Because other people are around.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So
So
with that
for
all
me
being said,
overall,
I want to know
yeah,
your score.
yeah. So overall, I rated this about an 8.9 is where I kind of fell. 8.8, 8.9 in that
Yeah.
range.
I give it like almost exact score. I gave it 8 8. I
Yeah.
there's if they didn't have the romantic aspect at the end, I probably would give it like a 9 1. I could have given it 9 or 9 1, but it's just that the weird romantic aspect, him being chaired the whole time, just I
Yeah.
could not in good faith give it 9 score. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, okay, I give it 8.8, which is still really good. Like I could easily sit down and watch this movie any day, right? It's good. It's very
Oh yeah. Yeah.
entertaining,
Yeah.
but it's just there's just a little things like I want people to understand that when we give something like an 8.8, it's like anything in like 9 or higher is like that is near perfection. But
Yeah.
I just have
Yeah.
too many gripes with
Flaws.
this
Yeah.
one. Yeah, too many flaws in my opinion to not give it uh anything but B plus. But B plus is still like so good score, right? So
Yeah. Yeah. I
all
think that's
right,
it.
that is perfect. Did you want to close out our show?
Yep. So again, everyone, thank you for all the support you've given us, especially on YouTube side.
Oh,
We definitely
we
appreciate everything.
we are shocked. We have been on YouTube for like a few weeks, and I am like I'm actually shocked with like the numbers that we got. They're not like crazy, crazy, but for only 2
For
weeks,
starting out.
yeah,
For just starting out.
for starting out, it's actually like I feel like it is. We are so thankful. So thank you so much.
Yeah, so once again, you can find us on YouTube or on Spotify, of course. We are on TikTok and Instagram. So please, again, follow us on everything. Like, comment, share. Any kind of engagement really helps. So we do definitely appreciate everything. So, all right, that's it for today's episode. Maple out.
Matane. Bye bye. See you next time.